Go outside and play. I'm listening to Fully Cinematic.
Oh, all right. I never heard that before. I got my drink. I am trying to cool down because I'm been outside doing some. After this has just been a full on blast day. It's just been nonstop since 7 o'clock this morning. And yeah, but that's all right. It's made it for. It's been a good day. I can't complain. So no. Is she coming in? Is she coming in the door?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Wait, I can't see you. Are you? Wait a minute. Are you hiding? You're not gonna hide. You're not. Am I gonna be the only one shown on the podcast? Well, that is all right. So, welcome. Oh man, I'm so excited. Can you see my Hold on a minute. I feel like I'm talking to a Hollywood celebrity. So, can you see my just expression of? I'm so excited. I can't stand it. We are so tickled to have you join us. Are we going to get a bill from your agent afterwards? Is that how this is going to work?
I'll have my people talk to your people.
Well, you're talking to the two people right here, so it's me and Rand. So.
Yeah, we're the only people we have.
That's it. But listen, we were just right before you joined. We were just talking about. I can't wait to get all the questions to ask you. And first of all, we are very, very thrilled to have you on here and join us.
Before John gets started, Emma, I got an important question to ask you. So, do you have how long do we have you for?
Yeah. What's your cutoff point? So.
Probably about 8 o'clock. My dog is going to demand my attention.
That's all right.
Okay. That works.
That is fine. Listen, we just are thrilled to death to have you join us. So, and I know listen, I know you are. We were talking about this about how much you do, but you have your own podcast, right? So you do a podcast as well.
I do. We're on a very long break.
Okay. That's all right. Well, I was just going to say, be very gentle with us. Don't be too critical, or and maybe you can give us some pointers behind the scene. But Rand's been the driving force behind getting everything set up. I think he's done a great job. He's got a great blog too. Yours is awesome as well. And I do ramble, so just tell me to shut up and slow down. But I really am excited to have you on the show. We've been talking about this for a while, ever since we found your blog and everything. So. With that being said, and I have the COVID look. I've got the COVID beard, long hair. I've been out, it's in the South. It's already starting to warm up. I've been out watering plants. So this is, what you see is what you get. So I apologize for that.
I'm still in my PJs, so that's
So you really did want to be in your PJs. That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's great. So with that being said, do want to welcome everybody to Fully Cinematic with Rand and John, and we have our guest tonight is Emma, and if I mess, is it Loggins? Is that exactly how you say it, Loggins?
Yeah, Loggins, like Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins? Hey,
yeah.
Love Kenny Loggins. So, are you related?
Actually, distantly, yes. Not close. He's like my 30th cousin, but yes, he is in my family tree.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, that's another cool piece of fact right there. So
you can't get away from show business. It's in your blood.
All around me. Yeah.
Well, we have got all right. So everybody, Fully Cinematic, Rand and John, our guest, Emma Loggins, and we just want you to hope you enjoy this show. We want you to please like, subscribe, hit the notify button. We just hope everybody gives us some good feedback. And I hope you enjoy everything that we ask. And if you got any questions, Emma, I hope you don't mind if they do have any, they can send them to us. Maybe we can throw them your way and get back to them if they have any.
Absolutely.
So what I wanted to do, and Rand, I hope it's okay if we go ahead. I know Rand and I have both read up on you a little bit on your blog, and a lot actually. But I would love if you wouldn't mind taking a few minutes and just introducing yourself and just how did you, what drives you? I know you're a developer. Is that right? So just maybe kind of get into what you do and why you do it. So
yeah, I do a lot. I'm definitely a serial entrepreneur. So I have multiple businesses. By schooling, I am a web designer developer, and I do run a digital marketing agency that the main thing we do is WordPress design and development and SEO and really all things digital marketing. It's kind of a one-stop shop for clients, and we cater mainly to startup companies that are looking to build an MVP, and then also small mom and pop shops. But then we also do some projects, larger projects with the entertainment industry and entertainment clients as well.
Wow.
So there's that side of things, and then there's the other side of things that's more of my my real passion, which is geek culture, and everything that I do with Fanbolts. And I started Fanbolt in 2002, and a lifetime ago.
Well, that's just what I was, and not to interrupt, but that's the one question I was going to ask you. How, I mean, you look like you're 10 years old, and I'm sitting there thinking, she started this thing back in, and that's meant to be a compliment, but I'm sitting there thinking, she started this in 2002. My God, was she in like middle school, or when did she start this blog? So.
Yep. Well, it's funny you say that. My first website, which came before Fanbolt, was I started it in 8th grade, and that was that kind of spun into a few more television show websites, which ultimately then fed into becoming Fanbolts. And I started Fanbolt about 2 months before I graduated high school. So I got good
Gosh, I feel like the oldest piece of dirt just around. So, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So,
yeah, it's been a really, really fun journey. I started, I've lived my whole life in Atlanta. I've never lived in LA or New York, and I didn't have any connection with the entertainment industry when I started Fanbolts. And then, right place, right time. And, I spent a lot of long hours and hard work on Fanbolts. And then I started, getting the attention of the entertainment industry. And it was a really interesting time. Google was still relatively, you could really like SEO the heck out of your site in the early 2000s. And to that point, I actually had a site that was like a sub-site of Fanbolt. I had several different sites for specific TV shows that fed into Fanbolt, and one of them was for a show called The OC. And my website for The OC actually ranked higher than the official site on Google.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Kudos to you.
Thank you. It's like the wild, wild west days of like Google and like social media. Like at that point, it was just MySpace. Facebook wasn't even around yet, and MySpace was pretty new. So it was an interesting time to kind of be involved in all of that. And then I, started making connections because of the OC, and, getting pretty well networked with the different TV studios. And then that of course fed into doing stuff with film, and it just kind of all snowballed from there. And I just kept doing more and more of it. And over the years got to travel with several different conventions, working with them, and doing kind of MC work and hosting panels. And I was a contributor with CNN for a while. They had a Geek Out blog for a while that I was a contributor with, talking about geek culture. And yeah, it's just all kind of started from there, and just lots of hard work. I always like to say it's a combination of right place, right time, and like a ton of hard work.
Oh, sure. I bet you got to put the hours in. Well, you're actually just living the dream that Rand and I are hoping to get to at some point, right? So, I mean, here I am, a 55-year-old, older gentleman with, middle-aged man with 2 grandkids. Rand's a single young guy, out there just, he's hip, but we just clicked with movies. We both worked for the same company at one time. And I'm in IT. I actually work in IT myself. I've been in IT for about 25 years. I did code a long time ago. I took some coding classes. That's just not my forte. I respect the developers, and anybody that does it would truly beyond belief. But anyway, Rand and I just happened to click one day in the gym. We were just talking about movies, and it just blossomed. And we were like, and I just made a comment. I think both made a comment. Well, we need to you and I have such this chemistry about talking about film and entertainment and books and movies and music, and why don't we just get online and talk about it? And so that's what how long have we been doing this now, Rand? This is what episode is this?
The first episode came out in October of last year.
Wow. Yeah. So we're trying, we do it because it's just fun. I mean, that's what I'm doing it for. I love it. I love movies. I'm really more, on the entertainment side. I love to read. I'm sure you've probably seen some of my posts, but I'm an avid reader. I don't even know how I keep up with everything I do either. The sad thing is I'm not getting paid for it. I'm like, could somebody just throw me a little bit of money to help me get along with all my entertainment habit? I just love it. I would love watching movies, TV shows. Not really TV shows more now since with the pandemic, because I've been streaming a lot more than I ever did before. I used to always go to movies probably at least once or twice a week, and I had two different sets of friends.
He's not even exaggerating about
that. Yeah, well, I had two different sets of friends that would go. One guy was able to go. He's a dentist, an orthodontist. I'm sorry, and he could go on Thursday nights. So he would always do the 10 o'clock movie night, which I would do, and then the next day, not that I had a hangover, but I felt like I had a hangover because of course I'd get up and go to work at 7:30. But I didn't care because it was a movie and it was a chance to go. And then the other set sometimes would go on a Tuesday night. But so Rand and I are just doing it because we love it. And I know we happened to come across your page, and I'm like, man, this is a really nice blog. This is a nice site.
Thank you.
And it's just designed very well. And Rand, like he has a great one too. We'll have to send you the link to his site. I don't know if you've done that yet or not, Rand. You definitely need to, but he's got a great one. But yours is just so well done. I just like the format of it. I like the way it's designed. I like the fact that
I like the color scheme too.
The color scheme is that blue, that bluish, and that it just strikes you. I mean, it just stands out. And I mean,
That's what I was going for.
well, that's what you got to do. I mean, I know, one of the web development courses I took in college, of course, they're focusing on, pop. You got to make sure you stand out. You don't want to just blend in and have these little backdrops that are just, you can't see the letters, or, it's amazing me. It amazes me how some of the websites you go to, you're like, well, I can't see that. That's not going to do it. But, so do you have, is your entertainment side or your geek side of that? I think I heard you say that was really where your heart is. Is that more so where your focus is, or what you really like more so than anything else? Or
well, it doesn't pay my bills either. I should state that. It's one of the things, a long time ago, the reason I started Fanbolt initially was an outlet for me to just like geek out over the things that I loved, because I had kind of the quintessential like high school story where I was picked on and bullied and, made fun of for the things that I liked. And I wanted to kind of create a safe haven, and in doing that and creating Fanbolt and kind of creating that community and that safe space for people. I've never, I've done a couple of sponsored things over the years, and I do sponsored kind of influencer stuff on social media, but I don't run any ads on Fanbolt. So I don't make money from it.
I about to say, you're right. I don't think I have seen anything now that
it is all purely,
it's all fan base driven.
Passion play. Yeah, it is all, by the fans, for the fans. No one's making any money off of it. I'm paying the server bill out of my own pocket each month. So,
wow. Well, everybody listen up, everybody, because I think that is awesome. And I do think, I'm of course going way back, but yeah, if you find a passion, I was telling a young guy today that's coming in, and not going on my personal business, but he's helping with my bathroom remodel, my wife and I. And he and I were talking about his girlfriend is a singer. And I just said, you know what? I said, well, he was telling me he was 39 and she was like early 30s or maybe late 20s. But she wouldn't get out and perform. And I said, what does she do? He said, well, she sings R&B and she just loves music. That's her passion. And I said, you know what? I said, I'm just at that age now. It's like, why did I not follow my passion, which really is, as much as I love movies, it's more music. I love music and singing, and I'm learning to play the guitar. Because I said, you're never too old. You're never too old to try it. And I told him, I said, tell her to go and try to follow her passion, and it doesn't matter what anybody thinks, Right. Don't let people pick at you, because I did the same thing. I had a horrible, time in school, and I was picked on a lot and bullied, and it was rough. And thank God I made it out of high school. But yeah, I just think that's a great comment and a great statement, and about why you founded the the blog, and that's awesome. It really is. So
Thank you. It's definitely, it is a huge passion for me. I also have a huge passion for like building businesses, which kind of feeds into my other business. So it all works out. So, I mean, I don't feel like I'm not following my passion, but there was just something about it for me, about, you know, pulling the ads back and just having it truly be kind of an independent, more kind of, I don't know. It just, I didn't want to sell out with it.
yeah,
So
that's a good way. Okay, I like the way you put that.
yeah.
That's nice.
But that being said, you know, if a company came along that was the right fit and wanted to advertise on it, it's not, I would absolutely entertain it. But I never wanted it to become something that, you know, the comicbook.coms of the world, and not to say anything bad about them, because they're awesome. They're freaking awesome. And they have, you know, the budget to do really big, amazing things.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't know. I maybe it was part of kind of my shyness in school, or I don't know. There was something about not monetizing it that just felt right to me.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If I was you, if a company came along and wanted to buy it, oh no, we'd be talking. I'd be like, okay, add a zero here, a zero here, and a zero here, and a zero.
It's your baby. I mean, it really.
I've got to say, it probably is. I was going to ask you if that's your baby. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I've had it for more than half of my life, which is insane to think about. So. That's
amazing. Wow. Well, Rand, how long have you had? I've been dominating this whole conversation. I'm sorry. Like I said, I can just ramble on, but so Rand, your blog is so good too. But I want to give you a shout out while we're on the show. So when did you create yours, and how long has yours been around?
I created the movie blog in, I believe it was 2016.
Okay.
It may have been 2015, one or the other.
And what kind of drove you to create yours? I mean, cause see, when I met you, I didn't know you had that. I mean, until we started talking, and then you shared me the link. So,
well, I was always giving people movie recommendations, and people would ask me, and then it got to the point where people that knew me would ask me for movie recommendations. And so I started writing down my own reviews, and I already had a true crime blog, but I created the movie blog just so I could have somewhere to put the reviews, and also so I could keep track of what my favorite movies were. Like say, what were my favorite movies for the year 2017? I wanted to keep track of stuff like that, because after a while, some movies stand out, of course, but then there's other movies that I just wanted to keep track of what I'd seen, and I either never want to see, if I never want to see it again, I probably remember that. But some of the but some of the kind of mid-level movies that were kind of okay, I wanted to write those down so I could keep track of that type of stuff. And so I started, it's called MTV is Dead, and I hope that I don't get in trouble for using that name. But so far, I haven't heard any flack from.
When he told me that name, and I was like, "What?" And I said, I thought to myself, Rand, you crazy? And I went ahead and pulled it up. I'm like, dang, he's got a very nice blog. It's very professional and very well done. And so, we got to, and I do every once in a while, I do put on our friend page. I created this page on, I've got 3 things on Facebook that I do. It's Cinema Fiends, group page for people that, can go out there, and it's very friendly. Everybody come and nothing derogatory or negative or anything toward anybody. It's just a place where people can post. And Rand and I, we both are admins on that, and we love to share a post about movies, and then I have one on books and one on music. So, but it sounds like the 3 of us have each developed something or try to start something. We have stuff in common, but yet we all started it for kind of different reasons in a way. So,
and just to add to John's story about us meeting, when I met John, he was the only person, because like he said earlier, we worked at the same place, but he was the only person at work that seemed to love movies as much as I did. Like, We would have to intentionally end our movie discussions.
Well, we would never work out.
Yes, we could go home because we could just go on and on and on.
Exactly.
That's what's so great about movies. It's, you know, I look at my main social group and it's so incredibly diverse, from, you know, people in their 20s to, you know, one of my best friends is 63 and, you know, we all hang out together regularly. Now that we're all vaccinated, we all hang out regularly.
That's cool.
But
well,
that's yeah. You know, it brings everyone together. It doesn't matter, you know, gender, race, backgrounds, you know, it doesn't, none of it matters. It's just the love of film.
Yeah, absolutely. And and there has been, I think, especially in the last, well, and I think and I was going to kind of segue into this, but I want to get back into your blog too, because I want to talk about some things about it. But yeah, I think, and especially in the past 2 years, I think I've seen, and this is you know, might be a soapbox for some people, but I know Rand and I talk about cultural diversity and trying to make sure that everybody, you know, we've definitely seen women represented more this year from a Oscar nomination. I think like with the director, and then we saw from a cultural perspective, we saw the Asian American represented, the African American represented, and I just think the last 2 years it's really been really good film. There's just been some things that I typically never probably would have watched, but when I watched, I'm like, oh my gosh, where have I been? You know, I got to expand my horizon a bit. In fact, it's so funny because Rain and I were just talking on a show not long ago. My younger brother, who absolutely loves movies too, and he loves Wes Anderson, which I really do try to get into Wes Anderson. I just can't get his sense of humor sometimes though. And he loves British stuff. And
I like a good British comedy.
But he loves British humor. But he just told me, and when he asked me, he said, "Have you ever seen Citizen Kane?" And of course, what was it? Yeah, we were talking about that, and I said, "Rand, I've never seen Citizen Kane. That's one of the like all-time classic films." And my brother was like, "You call yourself a reviewer and you've never even seen one of the all-time classics?" I was like, "Greg, be quiet. I'll watch what I want to watch." So, but anyway, so it all, you know, it's very good, the film that we've seen, I think, and plus I think the networks have been putting out some pretty good stuff, and the different shows, there's the streaming sites like Netflix and Hulu and HBO Max have just been really putting out some really good stuff. So
absolutely, there's no shortage of great content out there.
Right.
Well, so tell me about so I just want to ask you too, so I noticed, I love some of the people that comment in your forums. So how long have they been around? I mean, do you have some people that have been with you from the beginning? Are they?
Yeah, so the forums have changed a lot over the years, and that's been more of a kind of software kind of, as my coding has evolved, and I wish I'd kept the original forums. The original forums were actually run on vBulletin back in the day, and we had 220,000 members.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, it was insane. They were huge.
Oh my God.
Forums and subforums and subforums and subforums, and it was a really robust thing, and it was, you know, the time in which it all started was right before kind of social media. And then when social media exploded, a lot of those conversations that were happening on message boards moved over to Facebook and Twitter, and message board culture like really suffered there for a hot minute.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. That makes sense. So
between that and I was trying to switch over, because Fanbolt in the beginning, everything, the message boards were vBulletin, but everything else was custom coded. So I was trying to transition over into WordPress, and knowing that I couldn't really keep the vBulletin structure without needing help like figuring it out, because I still wasn't that comfortable with like all of the pieces that would need to come into play for me to make that work. And we didn't have a ton of activity happening on the boards at that point, and that was it's probably 2008 or 2009 when I just turned off the forums for a little bit, and I always intended to come back to them. But you know, then I just didn't. And so the forums are officially back as of June of last year, and they're completely different software, and the 220,000 members were not moved over. So people have to re-register. And I do have some people that have been there with me from the beginning, which is exciting. And I still keep in touch with, and I've made some really amazing friendships.
Sure, yeah, I can understand how you would do that. I mean, it's funny because I dig into your forum because, of course, as you know, I love to throw stuff out there, start discussions. And I know there's somebody. It's funny because I dig into some of the discussions, like I think Esther, and I hope it's up to mention names here. Sorry, guys, if maybe I need to use a disclaimer or something. But I mean, I know she had mentioned one time about you had something a while, a while back or a long time ago. And some of the other people that respond, I'm actually getting to where I'm corresponding with some of them now too, and it's pretty neat. I mean, because I'm finding that we have some of the same things in common as far as some of the same likes and stuff as far as shows and entertainment things. So it's pretty good. So I like it.
I love to hear that. I had hearing stories like that. I just love. I had a guy and a girl who met on my forums back in 2007 that ended up getting married.
Wow.
And,
Are you shut? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, that's the best thing that like anyone could have told me.
Well, think about it. You brought those people together. I mean, that is amazing. So wow.
It's definitely a special feeling. I can't tell you how happy that makes me feel.
That is awesome. So I love it.
Emma, do you remember the first thing that you uploaded to the site?
Oh God.
Put her on the spot.
It was for Fanbolts. It was probably Roswell related. The original Roswell TV show back in.
That's what Esther was talking about. That's
Yeah.
what I saw where her commented on. She talked about that. I think that was that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. Because I had a site right before that, which was solely for Roswell, and then Roswell ended in 2002.
Yeah.
And I kind of had this realization of, well, this is dumb, Emma. You're building sites for shows, and then they get canceled, and it's like all your work is down the drain.
Oh no.
So then I was like, let's create one hub that, you know, if a show ends, it's not, you know, everyone just doesn't go their separate ways. We can still, you know, move on to the next thing together. So it was probably Roswell related. I don't remember what it was. I wish I did. I wish I had, like, there's a site called it's like the Wayback Machine, where it lets you kind of look at what sites used to look like back in the day.
Yeah, I've seen it. And
so you can go and you can see what Fanbolt looked like in 2002. You can definitely tell I hadn't gone to art school yet. It looked bad. It looked bad. But
well, so let me ask, I know because y'all are, of course, much younger than I am. So do you feel like social media, because I know, and we're all on there, you know, some capacity, you know, using Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Is it, I guess my question is that I found that I've liked it only because it's funny. My wife's like, you're all the time on your phone, but she doesn't realize that I'm writing reviews or posting stuff, you know, or communicating with somebody about some entertainment stuff. But I'm just curious. I'm just going to throw this is a question that gets asked all the time, but so, and you both feel free to chime in, but do you feel like that truly social media is just like way overboard now as far in terms of taking people's attention away and how they interact with each other and how people respond? I mean, do you think it's only going to is it evolving for the better, for the worse? I mean, what do y'all think? I mean,
I don't know. I definitely try to stay clear of any sort of kind of toxic social media stuff. You know, if I get something that's nasty that's been posted on some of my stuff, or someone sends something, I never engage with the negative.
Okay.
Like, I'm happy to debate if you don't agree with me over a movie review, and like,
Right.
sure, let's debate it out. But as far as the negativity, I do think that, you know, some people want to be mean, or, you know, they feel like they have control over something, and if that control is, you know, them putting someone down or saying something horrible or trolling someone, I think the bad thing about social media is that it allows you to do that and not take responsibility for your actions. It's the same thing I went through in high school, but like so much worse, because like, you can, you know, you if you're getting bullied, you never get a break from it. But then as the person doing the bullying, you can essentially get away with it.
Yeah, because of the anonymity.
Yeah. So I could argue either side of that. I think social media has brought a lot of people together. I've met my best friend on Instagram. I was following pictures of golden doodles, and I saw she lived near me, and I asked if I could meet her dog, because I was thinking about getting a golden doodle. Ended up getting a dog from the same lady that she got hers from, because we're both allergic to dogs, needed a hypoallergenic dog. And you know, years later we're best friends, and you know, great things like that have come from social. But then there's also, you know, the bad that you can't deny. So equal parts good and bad, I think. That
so we just have to, it sounds like we just have to all realize there's a balance to it. I mean, with my grandkids, they're 6 and 4, and I just don't want them spitting all day. You know, I want them to be able to have social skills. I mean, like I said, I love the fact that, you know, Rain and I can ping each other or text each other, or I put stuff on your page and your blog or whatever, and hear back and get, you know, feedback on stuff. You know, I know it's got to be done with a balance. You know, that's for sure, because I want my grandkids to have social skills and be able to talk to people and look at them in the eye and talk to them. And I do not ever want to see a handwritten note go away. I mean, I just hope that will never, in writing in cursive, because I've heard that some kids, you know, don't even teach them how to write in cursive anymore. But to me, there's nothing more, I don't know, more personal,
you know,
than a handwritten note with somebody.
When I think about most of the people I know, I have no idea what their handwriting looks like.
Oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought about that. That's a good point. That's true. That's true. I do, and I've gotten aware of this last year, especially. I've asked for presents. I've gotten 2 different sets of stationery, one with my own, you know, initials on it, and I've been able to handwrite to different people that have done things for me in my life, and I just love that personal touch. So I'm hoping that, you know, as much as I do like the being on social media and the things we can do with it, I just hope we don't ever get away from that personalization, that personal touch. It's just, we've got to keep that, I think, as part of society. But I didn't mean to go off on that.
Not to cut you off, John,
but that's fine. Well, Rain, all right. So
hey, Emma, I want to ask you the question that I love asking people, or that I love asking movie buffs. Do you have a favorite movie? And what is it? It's
so hard. It's so hard.
I know, but just give us one of the favorites.
If I had to pick just one, I would.
No, say you don't have to pick just one. You can give us 3 or 5. I don't care.
Okay. Well, in that case, I would say Jurassic Park is probably the film I've watched the most.
Wow.
Okay. Followed by the original Star Wars films, 4, 5, and 6.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Followed by Indiana Jones. The 4th one didn't exist in my book.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
But those are probably my all-time favorites. I love nostalgia. And those are the movies that I just watched on repeat growing up. And you know, there's newer ones that I love too, but I think those for me are my all-time
classic standouts.
Yeah, I've said this on this podcast before. The Empire Strikes Back is my all-time favorite.
Solid.
And we have a good friend that we're hoping to get on the show. He's also a big Star Wars buff, and I like 4, 5, and 6. You know, the original, because I grew up. I was 12 years old in '77 when the first one came out. That was so far ahead of its time. I remember the lines at the theaters were just for weeks and weeks. It was just sold out. I mean, it was just amazing. And some of this other newer stuff, I'm just like, what? No, stop it. Don't.
But I personally think that Rogue One fits nicely right in there with the rest of the original trilogy.
I agree. Rogue One was, I'm not generally a fan of prequels or, knowing that I know how something is going to end. But Rogue One was awesome.
Yes.
It was awesome.
Yes, I have it in my personal collection.
Okay, now I have to ask this question about sci-fi. So do you consider yourself a Trekkie?
I'm not a Trekkie.
Oh, yep. See, I'm not either. I just can't do it. I just can't.
But I will say I've never actually watched Star Trek. So, and I've never really felt compelled to either.
Yeah.
So,
that's because you got Star Wars. You don't need Star Trek. So you got Star Wars is it. But
yes.
I don't know. I just can't. I've tried. Maybe it's because I remember Star Trek as a kid, the TV series, and thinking, of course, well, I can't say anything about it being crappy looking stuff because I used to watch Lost in Space too, and talking about crazy, crappy looking stuff. But yeah, I don't know. So Rain and I have debates about that as well as far as Star Trek stuff, because I think you've watched a couple, right? I mean, Rain, you're not really a Trekkie though, are you? I mean, you like
I'm definitely not a Trekkie, but what you might be, well, I think I never told you this before. My mom actually is a Trekkie. She had
what?
She had a whole bookcase full of Star Trek.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. No, that's good.
I've never been a Trekkie, but I do like about maybe 4 of the Star Trek movies.
Nice. Well, this conversation could just go on, and I know we're down to about 3 minutes or so, maybe about 3.5 minutes. So Emma, what do you see yourself doing? Are you going to continue? I mean, I know you're obviously, you said you have a job that you do coding and web development. So are you going to keep Fanbolt around for a while since it's your baby, and allow us to be able to?
Fanbolt's never going anywhere unless something happens to me, in which case I need to figure out in my will who Fanbolt goes to. I could never not have it. It's not going anywhere. And I'm a member of 3 different critic groups that, we vote year round for, all the best pictures and best actor, director, and all that good fun stuff.
I'm so jealous. I saw that Atlanta. I think you're in one of the Atlanta circles or something.
Atlanta Film Critics Group.
Yes, that's amazing.
And then SEFCA, Southeastern Film Critics Association too. So I love all of those, and my love of film and television are never going anywhere. So neither is Fanbolt. Fanbolt's
nice,
here to stay.
Well, I just have to ask you about the best picture, Nomadland. So do you really think that was overall the best picture of the year?
I think 2020 was a difficult film year in general. Yeah. There wasn't a single film that I saw that was like a happy film.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. Well, that's true.
Yeah. Everything. None of the films. Granted, they were all great. All the ones that were nominated were fantastic, but none of them were easy or fun or feel good films to watch. So.
No,
I think Nomadland was it's a beautifully shot film. I think the message is very, very timely and potent. But I really like Promising Young Woman, and I was really hopeful that was gonna, get a little bit more love.
Oh Lord, you done hit.
Yeah.
we could go on another discussion, on that one with Rand, because that is not his favorite by any means. So.
Well, and that being said too, like these are, we're talking about the 2020 films. It wasn't the strongest year of film.
Yeah,
that's true. So
it was.
So many films got pushed, and I think a lot of those would have probably been really amazing contenders.
Well, guys, we're down to a minute, and I'm just absolutely thrilled. Thank you, Emma, for joining us. Rand, thank you, of course, as always, for sending us a link and getting us hooked together. This has been so much fun, and it's been a pleasure listening to you, Emma, and hearing about your story. And we were very excited to get you on here. And we're going to definitely try to, if it's okay, we're going to hopefully spread this episode around and get some followers, and maybe some fans will come to Fanbolt. So
I would love that.
That would be awesome. So
definitely, we get to get those message boards back up to peak numbers.
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
let's get 220,000 people back on there.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you guys. It's been great, and I'll be in touch with you, Emma, afterwards, because I know we got some stuff we gotta chat about. So you got to email me on. So, but we'll work on that. So, but appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks,
Bye-bye.
Emma.
All right.
Fully Cinematic with Rand and John.